saw this guy using this, saying this in this.
Does not consider the stone of Mecca an idol.
Good, because we don't worship it. Again, the stone has no power. We don't say that's God. We don't say it's an image of God. We don't say it's a representation of God. We don't worship it. For example, if you had the Holy Grail of Jesus or something like that, right? That would be a sign that you would respect because it's tied to Jesus, right? Like that, this stone that was respected by the prophets before because it was sent from God. It's something that is a blessing, but we don't worship it in any shape or form. Even the companion Umar, the companion of the Prophet, when he went to the stone to touch it, he said it. He goes, I know you have no power, you have no strength, except what Allah has blessed you with. So just like a mosque is holy, we respect the mosque, we don't pray to it. But unlike if you make a statue of Jesus, you're like, this is God representation. You know,
I don't think that's right. You know, I wholeheartedly.
Now let me show you the problem with this. What this guy said. This guy is called UTHMAN FAROOQ. For people based in the USA, you know him, right? He's a Sunni also. He's as another confused entity. Huh? Now let me show you the problem in the statement he said. Listen.
Why do Muslims not consider the stone of Mecca an idol?
Why do Muslims not consider the stone of Mecca an idol? You know, when you go to the house, the Kaaba, the cube, there's a stone next to it. You see people fighting, dying to kiss it, dying to touch it. And look, listen, on a spot, you can have about 100 people kissing the same spot. I wonder how much sickness people go back home with on the same spot. You see people kissing the Blackstone. All this because according to the hadith narrations that they say that the stone was sent from heaven. It's never mentioned in the Quran, ladies and gentlemen, please. Before the pagans out there and the Christians and so on, you start butchering Islam. That is not Islam. You are butchering the mushriks, the hadithiyus, and then they've created a different religion. They have Sunni, they have Shia, they have Tijaniya, Ahmadiyya, and so on. So if you want to butcher them, target those groups who use those books to target. So now, they will mention what they call this stone, the black stone. So they put it next to the Kaaba. You see people fighting. People try dying to kiss it. They lick it. They kiss it. They decorated it very nicely. You can see it. For those watching from Facebook and YouTube, you can see it on the screen. You know the stone I'm talking about. This stone, Uthman Farooq was asked a question. Why do Muslims not consider this as an idol? Now listen to the answer, and I'm going to show you the confusion in their thoughts.
Good, because we don't worship it.
Then he says, because we don't worship it. Now, let's understand the meaning of the word worship. If you have money, you can be worshiping your money. If you have a phone, you can be worshiping your phone. If you have a newborn baby, you can be worshiping your baby. When you say worship, it doesn't necessarily mean just to go and bow down to something. That is worship. No. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Quran chapter 51 verse 56. God says he did not create the jinns and the human beings except what? To serve him. That is to worship him. Now we have people who worship money. We have people who worship entertainment, who worship, you name it. They worship their job. They worship their wives. They worship their husbands. They worship their kids. You name it. Worship comes in different forms. The reason why we have to put God first, because it's God you worship. You can love your wife, you can love your husband, you can love your kids. Don't love them to the extent of idolizing them, like a worship. When we say a feeling of profound love and admiration, that can be classified as worship. When you have a profound love for something and admiration for something, it can be classified as worship. Then we have, in a verbal form, we say love unquestioningly and uncritically, or to excess, venerate as an idol, can be classified as worship. So Quran chapter 2 verse 165. Those who believe They have greater love for God than any other thing. The believers. For instance, me, I put God first to my family. I put God first to my kids. I can lose my kids, right? I can lose my father, I can lose my mother, I can lose you name it, my family, everybody I can lose. But I cannot accept myself to lose God. Because we come from God and we go back to God. If I lose God, I've failed the test. Do you know where you're going? You're going back to the one who gave you life in the first place. So put God first. Love God more than anything. Worship God more than anything. Serve God more than anything or anyone. Put God first. Okay, good. Go and check Quran chapter 5 verse 54 to understand why you have to love God more than anything. Right? Put God first. But now let's go back to these idol worshippers. Uthman ibn FAROOQ, he says we don't worship it. So listen to his justification, and I'm going to prove to you that they worship the stone. So listen.
The stone has no power.
Now he says the stone has no power. Why do you put it next to the Kaaba? That shows power.
You get it?
You said the stone has no power. How come it has that privilege to be put in a higher state, to be decorated, for people to kiss it, love it, adore it, cry and fight over it, and you say it doesn't have a power?
Oh my God!
Are you in your right senses? Listen to the definitions of power. Possession of controlling influence. Possession of the qualities required to do something or get something done. If that stone can be put in Kaaba, next to the Kaaba, right? For people to buy plane tickets and go there, right? To kiss it, touch it, fight over it. That shows the possession of power that stone has. And you say the stone doesn't have a power? Oh my God, these mushriks don't understand what they're saying.
We don't say that's God.
Oh my God!
He says we don't say that is God. You are saying it's not a God. That's what you are saying from the mouth. Your action is explaining otherwise. A word to a wise is enough. A wise person doesn't need you to say with your mouth that this is God. A wise person doesn't need you to say you are a thief before he knows you are a thief. Your actions is what determines you are a thief.
We don't say it's an image of God.
We don't say it is the image of God.
We don't say it's a representation of God.
We don't say it is the representation of God. Then the question is, why is it there? Why don't you put it to the trash? Common sense. Please, the question is, what is it doing there? Put it to the trash then. You go and take that stone next to the Kaaba and see what they will do to you. I'm serious. They will burn you alive. Go. You go and steal that stone. Go and steal that stone there next to the Kaaba and see what they will do to you. It is an idol. Okay. What is the definition of an idol? An idol is a material effigy that is worshipped, meaning it's how people show it love, profound love, excess love. That is the definition of an idol. A material effigy that is worshipped. Worship means to adore something profoundly, excessively. Someone who is adored blindly, excessively. If you do the same for an effigy, we call it worship. That's an idol. An ideal instance, a perfect embodiment of a concept that you devote yourself to, is an idol. Still, the mushriks will say, we don't worship it. We don't say it is God. They justify all the vocabularies in the world just to tell you that they don't worship that idol. Okay, let's go.
God, we don't worship it. For example,
we don't worship it. Does he understand the meaning of worship? Now, do people actually understand the meaning of worship? Because these days, it seems the word worship has been lost. Even some of the pagans among the Christians, they will say they don't worship the statues in their churches. They don't understand the meaning of worship because they go to the statue to do this. If right now the statue is being burnt down, they will be crying. If it's just a statue, leave it to burn. Why are you crying when it's burning down? Seriously?
If you had the Holy Grail of Jesus or something like that, right? That would be a
Whenever they are being questioned about something, they always shift their attention to Christianity, trying to let Christians look bad. Always, these pagan, these mushriks, that's what they do. They shift their attention to the Christians. The guy is just asking you about Islam, a simple question about the Kaaba and then the stone. That's all he asked you. He never mentioned Christianity. He asked you a simple question concerning the Kaaba and the stone, the black stone, which has never been mentioned in the Quran. You will never see a verse where it says the black stone. It's not in the Quran. Never does it say the stone was sent from heaven. It's not in the Quran. Never did God tell you when you go to the Hajj, you should go and kiss the stone or touch it. It's not there. So if it is not an idol, why do you put it there for people to be dying over it?
sign that you would respect because it's tied to Jesus, right? Like this stone that was respected by the prophets before.
He said the stone was respected by the prophet. That shows you the power of the stone. If you say the stone has no power, why is the prophet respecting the stone? Oh, wow. Seriously. Look, if I'm a driver, why do I respect the road signs? The signs on the road, why do I respect it? If those road signs are useless, they don't have any power, why don't I just drive the way I want? Why do I respect the road sign? Common sense is not part of the man-made religions. Common sense, logic, common sense, it's not there. If you're part of any sectarian religion, you don't have common sense. I'm serious. Common sense is thrown out of the window. Why do you respect that stone there? You clean it, you keep it nicely. You don't want even people to go and destroy it. And then you say what? You don't idolize it? You don't worship it? Why is it next to the Kaaba? What kind of justifications are you trying to give? Now you say the prophet respects it. Look at the foolishness. If the prophet respects a black stone, what does that tell you? The stone has a power, right?
Or because it was sent from God.
Oh my God!
Then he says the prophet respects it because it was sent from God. Oh, so if God sends something, that thing has a respect. You respect the Quran, right? Because God sent it down. Yeah. You see. You say you claim the stone was sent by God, and then you claim it doesn't have power again. So God has sent something which is powerless, which is useless, but yet you put it next to the Kaaba and you idolize it, and yet you say you don't worship it, you don't idolize it. Seriously? Because why? If you claim the stone doesn't have power, you are worshiping it, you are fighting. Look, somebody can even punch somebody. Say, it's my turn. It's my turn. Hey, you kiss it already. Go away. Let me kiss it. Hey. These mainstream Muslims, they will justify everything as if they have all the logic when they are talking against Christians. Yes. Huh?
It's something that is a blessing.
What?
Now he said the stone is a blessing. Yeah, the stone which you say there's no power. You are now saying the stone is a blessing. Hey. Oh my God.
But we don't worship it in any shape or form.
You see? To make it worse, he says we don't worship it in any shape or form.
They think they are sensible and they keep on making mistakes.
This guy is lucky it is not babashuaib asking him this question. I'm serious. He will sweat me asking you this question, and then you tell me you don't worship it in any shape or form. Something that people pay thousands of dollars to go and fight to kiss it. Take it off. If it has no power, take it off. Let's see. Now listen to what he has to say.
Even the companion Umar, the companion of the Prophet, when he went to the stone to touch it, he said it. He goes, I know you have no power. You have no.
Look at the foolishness. Then they quote their hadith where Umar went to touch the stone after the Prophet. He says, I know you have no power. I know you have no strength
except what Allah has blessed you with.
except what God has blessed you with.
So just like
Look at the foolishness. He's even talking to a stone. Oh my God. What is wrong with these people? Huh? He's telling us Muhammad went to talk to the stone. I know you have no power. I know you have no strength. It is only what God has blessed you with. That is why I'm touching you. Talking to a stone.
has blessed you with. So just like a mosque is holy, we respect the mosque, we don't pray to it. But unlike if you make a statue of Jesus, you're like, this is God.
You see, again, he went to Jesus again. Just like unlike you make a statue of Jesus. Oh, this is God. You are being asked a question about Islam, the man-made. You are created worshiping the stone next to Kaaba. Answer that. You leave that. You are talking about the Christians. What kind of straw man is this?
You know,
Well, I don't think that's right. You know.
Yeah, that's not right. That is not right. No, that is Usman FAROOQ, another comedian. People take him seriously. I don't take this kind of guy seriously, right?